Ladies and gents, it's Preacher! Time for a reality check and have some serious talk. Left it a couple of days while people settle into patch 6.02. And of course, everyone's sort of settling down now. I'm one of the people who's had vast experience with... I'm lucky. Vast experience with how things will be in Warlords of Draenor in terms of the classes and the lack of spells and uncluttered action bars and all that kind of stuff. So... the patch was a really welcome thing for me because I'm used to playing it, I've got used to it, I'm settled in, I'm comfortable with it, I see the advantages, and for me, it was great. Absolutely great. Now, there's a lot of doomsayers out there from the initial reactions, like, it's surprising, isn't it? That people know Warlords of Draenor is coming, and they are aware of it, but they have no information whatsoever about what's about to happen. Nothing at all. And I'm not saying people are required to go out and find out that information, but they're usually also the first people to go, what the fuck, dude? Whoa, I can't cast elemental, I can't lightning bolt on the move anymore. Why? And I'm not mocking those guys. It is a great loss. Remember, Warlords of Draenor is one of those... It's a different expansion than any other. In fact, this entire downtime period which we have now, because one thing we need to get out of the way is that certainly 6.02 that we're in right now is basically just the biggest waste of time ever, and it's a little different than previously. This bit where it's like you're still level cap, but not really, because the game's now balanced around being level 100, not being level 90, therefore everything's out the window. That's why all the achievements disappear. You've got to remember, right now, you are the last people who will be at level 90 for any period of time. You know what I mean? In the future, level 90 will just be another level like level 83, and you will instantly pass by it and go on to level 91. Essentially, it'll be the level where you get to go to Draenor, or even earlier, and therefore it means nothing. So therefore, the game is completely, in a way, pointless right now in terms of measuring stats, statistics, and planning and all that kind of stuff. It's totally useless. Absolutely useless. That's why they drop everything away. Level 90 now means nothing. So what you are is hugely overpowered people who will have a gear level that no future level 90s will ever have, and that's about it. So it completely makes no sense. And for those people whose raid leaders are like judging them based on right now, I've had several of these emails. It's like my raid leader's telling me my DPS is shit, or they're looking at people who are way overpowered, like a fire mage, and saying, well, we'll have to start recruiting a lot of mages and all that kind of shit. Tell your raid leaders, shut the fuck up. Shut up, you dipshit. Because right now the game, in terms of anything realistic or tangible, is meaningless. Absolutely meaningless. It's why Blizzard takes away all the stuff like challenge modes and all that. It makes no sense anymore. It's gone. The game isn't balanced around being level 90 at all whatsoever. So, the main crux of the issue is people sending messages like, what class should I roll? And I would love to say, you know what? Just go and check out the final looks that I did of what your characters will be like at level 100. That's what we've just done. We've done a whole series on what your character will look like at level 100. Look at the gameplay. Do you enjoy it? Take my opinion. I've been as objective as possible. Sometimes there's ones I really disliked. I've told you about that, but I've also told you how it plays and maybe that appeals to you. All that kind of stuff is in there. Then, of course, I've got to sit here and say, but, that could all be meaningless in a respect, right? That's how that class will play. That's how it will be at level 100 with all the talent choices and all the perks, of course, which are also being balanced around now, which is why some things are still broken. But, Blizzard is pushing class balance to the absolute wire this time. This time in Mists of Pandaria, it's got to be said, in the Mists of Pandaria pre-patch, they were just raid balancing. They weren't class balancing anymore. That bit was gone. It was done with, and they left it as it was. And that created huge issues. Huge issues, and we had all the nerfing and rebalancing and constant go back and forth of classes and specs all the way through Mists of Pandaria, and it was listed by Blizz as the #1 reason people were leaving the game, because they kept fucking around with people's classes, and people hated it. They settled in, they felt good, they were comfortable, and suddenly Blizzard trashed it. That spec is no longer good enough to be raiding on, and it's a waste of time. Ultimately, it doesn't matter how fun a spec is. It does not matter in the long run. If you are looking for progress, which I assume most of you are who come here and are looking for ways to get better and to be the ballers of your guild, and ultimately it comes down to where your class sits in terms of the balance and how that reflects into Warlords of Draenor's raid encounters. Warlords of Draenor's raid encounters are very, very different than Mists of Pandaria. They are so much more about mechanics, but still your DPS, your healing output, and your ability to not take damage are hugely relevant because those things still occur. They still occur. Some fights are melee unfriendly, some are caster unfriendly, some are magical damage heavy, some are physical damage heavy. All these things are going on. And ultimately, some classes and specs will be better than others. And that's when the fun of your gameplay, if you love something like an Elemental Shaman, as I do right now, I really like my Elemental Shaman, it doesn't matter if the numbers just aren't there. If enhancement is way ahead, your raid, and rightfully so, is going to want you to play enhancement. And even if it's like, yeah, it's cool, you're elemental till you die, I get that, and someone comes along who's enhancement and does way, way naturally more damage than you do, then they're going to be like, we'd rather have the enhancement shaman. Why? The boss will die quicker. We will win more. And it's pretty much as simple as that, given equal skill. It's always nice in the gameplay previews that I do. They're my favorite type of things because we start off the video saying this is based on the idea that ultimately it will be balanced. A big announcement today is a huge, enormous wave of balancing coming out. Nerfs and buffs for all sorts of different classes. And Blizzard is desperately trying to get it right. It feels as though they should have had it right by now. They've stopped raid testing on the beta that hasn't been around for a long-ass time now, and still we're looking at the testing. Few reasons for that, which I desperately think Blizzard fucked up on. One was letting so many people into the Warlords beta. Again! They learn nothing from Mists of Pandaria. There's an arrogance there sometimes that's like, well, we can do the internal testing, and in the raid testing it'll be the top guilds all the time, so we can kind of just judge from those numbers and see what happens. And there's an arrogance there because what happens is that once you stop doing that stuff, which they stopped a while ago, what are you then basing the information on? Where is this new information that the latest round of class balancing is coming from? I don't know, but it can't be anything particularly recent. Now, I want you to take this into account. Look at the first previews I did in the early beta and late alpha of Warlords of Draenor, where all the DPSs, unless something was really broken, were actually pretty close. I would go into a 5-man and be reasonably up there. I would be maybe winning, or at least I would be very competitive with the other players in there because they were all people who were selected. This veteran idea. And as much as some people missed out on that, understandably were pissed off about it, in general there was a lot of veterans in there who kind of knew what they were doing, and it was a fair old free-for-all. Yeah, it was reasonably even. Then look at the fucking videos I did recently of the late beta, and look at me doing something like 45 to 50% of the damage of everyone else in the group. And that's how the beta turned when they started giving away keys in competitions. Streamers got loads of keys, not me, thank you Zarim, and all sorts of other stuff. They were giving away keys for fun. Thousands upon thousands of beta keys were given out a long time ago, and more people flooded the beta. Even up till this week, I see people, this is the first time I logged beta, I got a key, and I'm like, how did you get a key now? What's going on? Because you clearly have no idea what you're doing. I was in a dungeon yesterday with a tank who had no idea about attacking other targets other than the one he was attacking. And just let healers die. Just let them die. And I'm going, what's going on here? Because we can't get any good information out of this. You can't possibly be using this information. You must have stopped collecting. Must have. There's no other explanation. We're not raid testing. There's nothing organised going on. It's got to be done that way. You come to me and you say, Preacher, which class should I roll? The answer is I don't know. And people ask me, why have you chosen a rogue? You seem to favour other classes. You seem to favour this and that. Why don't you like the warrior? You love that. Well, ultimately, one of the answers is the rogue has access to 3 DPS specs. I like all 3. This is one of the reasons. It's a common sense approach. I might love a spec of another class. I might love Fury Warriors right now. Yeah? I might love them. I might have an absolute blast on that every time I play it. I might love the Mage. I might love Frost spec. I might love this. I might love that. I might love this spec. But ultimately, reality, those specs, 2 of those specs, or the spec that I particularly love, could be dog shit any day now. There is patches coming daily to fix classes, and they could end up bad. And I would love to sit here and say, this is how it's going to look, okay? These specs are really great fun, but they're going to be weak early game. That's something that's not going to work out for you guys, so you need to bear that in mind. I would like to say, yeah, if you love Assassination, Unfortunately, that's not going to pay off. This is just an example, by the way. Ultimately, that's a bit weak right now. You're going to end up playing combat for the foreseeable future unless something changes, blah, blah, blah. I would love to give you those answers. And there's a lot of guys out there trying to give you those answers. I drop into streams regularly and I see people like, oh yeah, Hunter's really good right now, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, you can't say that. You cannot say that because there's huge waves of changes coming every single day now. And we are running out of time. The game comes out pretty fucking soon. I'm off to BlizzCon in 10 days. I am gone. I'm out of there and then the game comes out then. And that's as simple as that. The time is running out. Information has stopped being collected. I don't know what Blizzard is basing its current information on. And as such, I cannot tell you what is going to be benched. But things will be. Things will be benched. Other things will be pushed forward. And they may not be what you want them to be. And I wish I could help you guys out. I really do. But I can't. And I just want you to be aware that if anybody telling you right now that this is going to be super powerful or that's going to be super powerful, they're bullshitting. They have no idea. If I could give you that information, I would. If I could make a video that said this is going to be the best specs in Warlords of Draenor, I would make a fortune on that video. It's in my best interest to make videos like that. But they don't exist. The answers just don't exist right now. They don't. Maybe they will exist. Because Blizzard obviously is desperately trying not to repeat Mists of Pandaria and have to rebalance things going forward. They're trying desperately. They are balancing up to the fucking wire at this point. It's getting so close to release. And we're still not seeing it. As it stands right now, enjoy what you have. Keep paying attention to the forums. I will try and give you as much information as I can the closer we get to release. But ultimately, at some point, I'm going away. I'm going to be in the US. I'm going to be at BlizzCon. I won't be able to create videos for you then and bring you up to date. So I will do something as close as we get. All right, guys? Anyway, I'm enjoying my huge FPS burst that I got because the new game graphics are miles better. All right, guys? I'll see you later. Bye-bye.